So many of us do this and we don't even realize it. We let our job title define our entire sense of who we are. It's a really common trap in today's world, but it's one we can learn to spot and, sidestep altogether. So let's get into it.
Just think about that for a second. You're at a party, maybe a networking event. After you say your names, what's the very next question that almost always comes up? And what's your automatic answer? It's like a social script we all follow, but we rarely stop to ask what it actually says about us and what we prioritize.
Sound familiar? Yeah, of course it does. It's our go-to reflex, right? We just state our profession. We use our job as this convenient little shorthand for who we are. But when that shorthand becomes our main identifier, well, that points to a much bigger cultural thing about where we're placing all our value. And this habit brings us to a really big fundamental question about what it means to have an identity today. Have our careers just become the only way we measure our own worth? And what happens to our sense of self when a job ends, or maybe when things at work just aren't going so great?
So this isn't just some random habit. It's a real pattern. You can call it the modern tendency. It's this super widespread, often unspoken belief that what you do to make a living is who you are. And that's the core mistake we're going to unpack today. This idea of fusing our professional label with our personal value.
This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? On one side, you've got your job title. It's an external label. It's often temporary. On the other side, you have your self-worth. That's your internal, intrinsic value just for being you. The real danger of the modern tendency is believing that these two things are somehow chained together. But they're not. They're completely separate. And that's the good news here. Just recognizing this tendency is the very first step to breaking free from it. There's a much richer, more resilient, and honestly, a more fulfilling way to see yourself, one that goes way beyond this common mistake. So this shift is all about moving from that narrow, work-defined identity to an identity of wholeness. It's about consciously building a sense of self that's strong and resilient, one that can handle the ups and downs of any single part of your life, especially your career.
So here's the choice we're all facing. We can stick with the mistake, where our entire identity is balanced kind of precariously on that single pillar of our job, or we can choose the virtuous counterpoint, building a much more stable foundation for ourselves by cultivating a whole self, where work is just one important piece, but definitely not the only piece.
And there's a name for this practice of cultivating wholeness: multi-dimensional living. Now, the key phrase here is alongside your career. This is not about devaluing your work or telling you to quit your job. Not at all. It's about consciously and intentionally valuing all the other critical parts of your life just as much.
Okay, so what are these other dimensions? What are the building blocks of a whole identity that goes beyond what's on your business card? Let's break them down.
You can think of your whole self as being held up by a few different pillars. You've got your character, your integrity, your kindness, your resilience. You've got your roles in your family and community as a parent, a friend, a neighbor. There's your creative side, and that could be anything from painting to coding to gardening. And then there's your inner life, your values, your reflections, your sense of purpose. These are the things that are truly you, and they're there long after any job title is gone.
I love this visual. If you imagine your life as a pie chart, your career is just one single slice of the pie. When you intentionally feed all those other slices, your family, your creativity, your character, your inner world, your whole life just becomes way more balanced and strong. So if that career slice gets smaller for a while, which happens, you're still whole. You're still a whole pie.
So if there's one crucial point to take away from all this, it's this. Your value is not your vocation. Your job is what you do. It is not the sum total of who you are. Your worth is built in, it's multifaceted, and it is so much bigger than a business card. And that leaves us with a final question for you to think about. If you couldn't use your job title to introduce yourself, what would you say? What passions, what roles, what characteristics truly make you, you? Really thinking about that, well, that's the first step to living a much more multidimensional life.